Good evening, everyone. I'm Chidima. I am from Nigeria. My family and I are from Nigeria, and I've actually been here for a year. I came in December 2021, so I have been here for more than a year. Yeah, I have a son. I'm pregnant. Yep, that's it. Yes. I'll be taking today's Bible reading from John chapter 9, verse 1 down to 12. I read, "As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man who had been blind from birth. Rabbi," his disciple asked him, "why was this man born blind? Was it because of his own sins or his parents' sins?" "It was not because of his sins or his parents' sins," Jesus answered. "This happened so the power of God could be seen in him. We must quickly carry out the task assigned to us by the one who sent us. The night is coming, and then no one can work. But while I am here in the world, I am the light of the world." Then he spit on the ground, made mud with the saliva, and spread the mud over the blind man's eyes. He told him, "Go wash yourself in the pool of Siloam." Siloam means sent. So the man went and washed and came back seeing. His neighbors and others who knew him as a blind beggar asked each other, "Isn't this the man who used to sit and beg?" Some said he was, and others said, "No, he just looks like him." But the beggar kept saying, "Yes, I am the same one." They asked, "Who healed you? What happened?" He told them, "The man they call Jesus made mud and spread it over my eyes and told me, 'Go to the pool of Siloam and wash yourself.' So I went and washed, and now I can see." "Where is he now?" they asked. "I don't know," he replied. Amen.
So you can keep reading how that story unfolds in John chapter 9, and I will be referring to more of the passage. And it's okay if you want to multitask and have your phone open and listen to me and watch things that are happening all at the same time. Now tonight we are going to be learning differently, and we have 4 activities or stations organised to help us to think through this story that happened with Jesus and to help us to take something special away from this message. So for the beginning, actually I need 2 volunteers, and your task is to be a blind beggar, all right? And you're going to have to come up with 2 sentences or 3 sentences at the most to convince all of us to give you virtual money, all right? Sorry, you're not going to go home rich. Okay, so while you're thinking about that, I'm going to just set up. So this is the situation of the man who Jesus meets and who the disciples meet. Now, in Australia, normally we're pretty good to people who have a disability, right? We like to think about their needs. We like to care for them. But in Australia, normally we don't have begging, okay? So Australians, we're not big on begging, but we are big on caring for people with disabilities. Now, they have an interesting conversation. Most of us would never say this about a person with disability, but the disciples asked Jesus, why is he blind? Did he sin to make God angry? Did his parents sin in some way? What is the cause? And Jesus said, no, it's none of those things. He said, it happened so that the power of God could be seen in him. So Jesus is using the language of blindness and sight to describe his plan. And Jesus says, we better be quick. This is an important moment. The night is coming. He said, I am still with you. And Jesus said, I am the light of the world. So we have this language again, light and darkness, seeing and blindness. Okay, so what then happens is Jesus does this cure. Have you tried this cure on anyone? Right? He spits in the dirt and then he gets the spit, makes mud, and then he puts it on the guy's face, on his eyes. Don't do this at home. Do not try this. It's bad medicine. In fact, in Australia, if you spit on someone, that is a form of assault and you can be arrested by the police. So don't spit, okay? Bad idea. So was this a special healing technique? Was Jesus' saliva magic? No, none of those things. Actually, in the Jewish culture, this spitting, it's considered like an insult. It's like slapping someone in the face, right? It's rude. So there was nothing special about the spit or the mud, but actually that helps us to understand that it was only because of Jesus' power, only because of his power, that this man was healed. And isn't it wonderful? Now, I want you to think a little bit about what this man's journey, because when Jesus put the mud on the man's eyes, was he healed straight away? Right, that's it. So, again, this is a bit silly, really. This is the silliest example I've got. I need someone who's got a good sense of humour. I'm looking at Lisa, but I don't really want to put you on the spot. But someone out there, just to come and help me with the next bit. Oh, Lisa. Oh, thank you so much. Lisa, this might look like a sword, but it's not. It's a cane, right? And what I want you to do is close your eyes and I want you to find your way to the back door where there's a big well and I want you to wash your eyes, okay? So, okay. The poor fella, Jesus sends him off and he's still blind and he has to make his way through the town without being able to see until eventually he finds this swimming pool called the Pool of Siloam. And there he's going to wash his face. Thank you, Lisa. You're really doing a good job there. You could go a bit faster if you wanted. Okay. Okay, well done. Well done. Now she washes her face and it's a miracle. She can see again. Hooray. Okay, so she's extremely happy. She stabs someone with a sword by mistake. And now your journey is only half through because something a bit sad happens to this person, right? They're very, very happy they can see for the first time in their life. But now things get complicated, don't they? So what happens is this person, they go home. So make your way halfway up the aisle. You're still carrying your cane because you don't want to, leave that at the well. Okay? And then the neighbours stop you and they say, you look like the dude we know, but you can see, so there's an identity problem, right? And they're concerned. They don't know they ask you a few questions. They're not super happy with your answers. And so they send you off to the Pharisees. So just come a little bit further up, right? And now you've gone off to the synagogue, and these religious leaders called Pharisees, they're meant to be the good guys, but so often they make terrible mistakes, and they're not helpful, are they? They don't really believe that it's you, and they don't really believe that you were blind in the first place. And so they give you a bit of a tough deal, and then so they actually ask your mum and dad to come, right? So mum and dad rock up, and they say, no, it really is her. It really is. And she really was blind ever since she was born. But then they start getting scared that they'll get kicked out of the synagogue. So they say, no, we don't know anymore. Just ask her, right? So the parents nick off because they were afraid that the Jewish leaders would kick them out of the community. So then they speak to her again. And they say, actually, we're not happy. We're not happy with the way that you were healed. We're not happy with the person who healed you. This is all bad. Okay? And so... You should be in my situation. So really, the cane starts to become a bit of a sword for defense, right? You're getting all these people kind of shooting arrows at you, right? And this is often the way when you become a Christian, without meaning to. Sometimes you get attacked by the people around you. Sometimes life is complicated. And this is the man's experience. And because they don't want to admit that Jesus is special, they kick him out. And is the man, at the end of the day, is the man happy or is the man sad? He's happy because he can see, right? Something great has happened, but it's complicated. Thanks, Lisa. You can sit down now. You did really well. Okay. All right. We'll go past a couple of pages. Look at that. I've done so well. Now I'm going to read to you, and we're going to pick up a little bit further down in the same chapter, but from verse 35. And this man, after all these troubles, finally this man meets Jesus. And remember, this is the first time he's actually seen Jesus with his eyes. When Jesus heard what had happened, he found the man and asked, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" The man answered, "Who is he, sir? I want to believe in him." "You have seen him," Jesus said, "and he is speaking to you." "Yes, Lord, I believe," the man said, and he worshipped Jesus. Then Jesus told him, "I entered this world to bring judgment, to give sight to the blind, and to show those who think they see that they are blind." So the Son of Man, that's a name actually for God's King, for the Messiah, for Jesus. And this man, he's experienced Jesus' power. He's seen the light of the world, and he trusts in Jesus. He believes. He gives himself to Jesus. And this is a really, really special moment. This is actually my third, someone's moved my third chair. I had another chair there. And there's that moment of decision. It's up there. It's that moment of decision. It's that commitment to the Lord Jesus. And it's a very special moment in all of our lives when we consider Jesus and when we make that decision to put our trust in him. And so that's actually my third chair. And I've asked someone rather special to share with us tonight. Where's Jason? It's Praveen. So Praveen's going to come up. Is Jason interviewing you, or are you just going to share? Okay. So Praveen's going to share with us about that moment of decision and about what it means to call yourself a Christian.
Let's welcome Praveen. One, two, one.
Hello. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Praveen, we won't talk about the cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah. We won't talk about the cricket. However, I want to ask you a question. Praveen, what countries have you lived in for significant amounts of time?
So I grew up in Africa, a country called Tanzania. Tanzania, yes, thanks, Alex, for 16 years, and then went to India and stayed there for 4 to 5 years. Yeah,
Okay.
and 5 years here. Yeah.
5 years here. Oh, good. It's really good to meet you here,
Mhm.
Praveen. Now, Praveen, we're talking about moving from blindness to seeing. Could you tell us, you can choose whichever country, Tanzania or in India, what kind of obstacles and distractions do people have in those countries that sort of blind them from seeing Jesus?
So the commonality between these two countries would be the poverty. And when the missionaries and Christians first came out there, they began to tell the poor that they were valued in the eyes of God. And especially in a country like India, where there's tiers of a class-based segregation of people, when they came and told the people in the lower classes that you actually have value and it's in Christ, and that's when people rose up and they could find value in that. But then, as years passed, they still clung on to the ritualism and the barbarism of the past. And I think in that sense, they didn't see through Christ.
Okay. All right. So you've got people in the caste, in the bottom one, so seen as not valuable, so that's an obstacle for them. And then when some people come to Jesus or move towards Jesus and then get distracted and go back. Could you tell us a story about someone who's gone from blindness to seeing?
Oh, there's so many stories. I see so many here, like when you see students come in and it changes your perspective, because I always underestimate the power of transformation. And for example, I think there was a student in India. She was from the higher caste Hindu society who came and heard the gospel at the university. And when she went back home, her parents did not accept her at all.
Okay,
They shunned her away from the household. The person she was supposed to get married to, their family didn't accept her. They're like, you need to convert back to Hinduism. And she rejected. She was like, no. And she still serves to this day as a Christian, which is pretty inspiring.
That is very inspiring. So you've got we've got given us two examples there, people going in the lower classes or the higher ones, meet Jesus, transformed by Jesus, but then it's not easy for them after they turn and to follow after Jesus. Yeah, okay. So going from blindness to sight could be like high class, could be low class, but these are obstacles that blind people. And however, in all that mix, thank you for that phrase. Yeah, God's powerful to change whoever it is. Praveen, thank you so much for sharing.
Good.
So all of us have needs and struggles of different kinds, and for the man we're talking about, his was blindness. We're also all on a spiritual journey of one kind or another. God blesses us, God intervenes in our life, and God intervened in this man's life. It brought him a great miracle, the gift of sight, but it also brought him into conflict with the people around him. The really lovely thing about this story is that Jesus would have healed him whether or not the man put his trust in Jesus. But it's such a tender moment when the man recognises Jesus and when the man actually does put his trust in Jesus. And Praveen has just shared of his faith journey and his commitment to the Lord Jesus. But then along comes the rest of your life, right? Along comes the rest of your life, and many of us have already put our trust in Jesus and made that confession of faith. What then? What does it mean that Jesus is the light of the world? That he is at work in my life and the life of the people around me? Well, we have this incredible privilege to And where shall we speak, Gerard? We'll speak here, Gerard. Is that okay? Poor Gerard. And the first speaker is none other than your senior minister, Peter Hutchinson. And that's me. Oh, yes. And thank you. And clearly the ministry I'm going to talk to you about is the best possible ministry and is something all of you will probably want to rush to sign up to and be part of this year. It's called Red Frogs. Now, you might have met the lollies. They're made by Allen's and they come in big packets like that, and they are literally like a red jelly frog, and they taste fantastic. They're full of energy. And these frogs, it's the name of an organisation actually, and we have this open door, this opportunity before us, yes, here in Wollongong actually. So I want you to imagine that you have an open door to go and hang out with students living in Wollongong, that you're invited into their lounge room and you can go there once every 2 weeks, once a fortnight, and hang out with students in great numbers. That you rock up with a packet of pancake mix and you cook pancakes for these students. Some of them are domestic students that come from different parts of Australia. Some of them are international students that come from all over the world. You make pancakes, you hand out your red frogs, and that's just an easy way to build some friendships and to get to know people. It's a lot about listening and hearing what's happening. How's their week gone? Hearing their hopes and they're walking through their disappointments. Praying for them. Maybe getting to know one or two and giving them a birthday card during the year. Maybe taking them out and buying them a chai latte in the local cafe from time to time. What a great ministry opportunity. And let me tell you, Red Frogs is this opportunity. This is a real thing. We go into iHouse, we go into Campus East, or what do they call it? Campus East, the student accommodation. We'd like to get into Coolabong and some other places too. And Red Frogs is a way that people like you and me can get to know these students, can walk with them, and then as we build friendship, we can shine the light into their lives. And if they want to receive it, we can invite them to come along to things, we can share our own story, our faith story, and we can point them to Jesus. I would like to think that you might get invited to someone's wedding, that you might get to have a really big part in one or two of these students' lives as you connect with them every second week during the year. It's a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. Think about it, because my ministry is clearly the best ministry.
Going to share about Fun Food Friday. So on Fridays, we have about 50 students gathered together and we eat food. Now, let me tell you about why this is the best of these three ministries, okay? It's on Fridays for a start. Friday, after a long week of work and study, to be able to go and just rest and meet up with friends. So Friday, the best day of the week there, as you rest and meet up with people. There's food. So with this food, you don't just get red frogs and pancakes. You get a whole meal. We're talking like where there's meat and vegetables, and this is why it's superior. This is like a better ministry with the better food, and so we eat together. And this, for students, maybe with less money, maybe just been eating noodles through the week, we get to give them a really good meal. So that's a great thing that we can do. We also have fun. So on the night, it might be running around, playing some games, getting to know new people, or going to Symbio or the beach on other days. So Fun Food Friday. Another great thing about this ministry is it's student-led. So as a church, we support the students as they lead and encourage the students, which is fantastic. It's also on the university campus, so people don't need to come here, but we go out to them. So it's a great chance to be in their community, in their space, which is just great. Now, Fun Food Friday, we want to be a home away from home. So for students who've come from overseas, we want to adopt them in, they adopt us, and we can journey life together, which is fantastic. And then as we connect and support them, there's opportunities to hear about Jesus. So with small groups in the week to read the Bible, learn about Jesus, and then also come to this service here at KOC. And the students are gradually coming back now, which is great. So another part, so there's some reasons why, obviously, this is fantastic, the best of the ministries. A few ways to help out with this one is with food. So it could be either preparing food and bringing it, or giving money so we can buy food to give to students. Another one is there's so many students there coming, like 50 a week and things, and so we need help to disciple them, to meet up with them, read the Bible, point them to Jesus. So there are a few ways that we can help with the obviously most superior, awesome Fun Food Friday. Let's give Fun Food Friday a cheer.
Red frogs, like unhealthy sugar lollies and stuff like that. What's this? What's this? What's this? Fun Food Friday, where like you guys get like Chicos every second week, unhealthy, like although delicious, but like still really unhealthy stuff. That's not really good for people's lives, is it? So the ministry that I'm going to talk to you guys about is called English for Life. Debate over. It's all about life, right? So there we go. So we were talking about all of today about how hard is it to navigate the world if you can't see, right? But how hard is it to navigate the world in Australia where you can't speak English, let alone you can't speak Australian, right? Because we speak weird, don't we, right? So we've got this really, really great opportunity to teach these people a life skill, something that they need, not like red frogs and pancakes and Chicos and stuff, right? They need to navigate the world, right? We've got these people, we've got John and Catherine who've been really, really heavily involved in that, and also Gerard as well. Their guys have been champions at this as well. And also another thing, we're not just limited to students too. These guys are talking about, going to iHouse and, going off to uni and talking about students and stuff. But we know that we're called Keiraville International Church, not Keiraville International Student Church, aren't we, right? So there's already existing international families that we can minister to here. Now, the sad fact is some of these guys do slip through the radar, right? And because of their limited accessibility in terms of just communicating and navigating the world, they might not get the government funding or support that they might need for some of these basic skills, just like English. So that is where we as a church can come in and help them. All right, so we're going to start this up again very, very soon. It's going to happen on Friday mornings, right? We're going to be running and helping people come together in a friendly setting such as our church here to get them to come along and learn English as well. And some offshoots of that we can do, we'll have people teaching from the front, right? And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can sit with them and just help them, all right? The English or the Australian that you know, right, as limited and as weird as it might sound, is much better than some of the English levels that these guys come in with. So you guys are already well equipped to be involved in this ministry. As you sit alongside them, you can then invite them into your houses, show them some hospitality as well, and just journey with them. And as they get to know some more English and as they get to know you more, they might ask you, why are you doing this? And you get to say, well, it's not just to help you with English, it's because, fill in the blanks, lead them to spiritual sight as well. Now, a way in which we're also supporting this at our 5 p.m. service, and you've heard me talk about it a whole lot, is that Praveen and I are helping to run along some conversational classes as well as some classes for PTE, and these are going to be for students or international families who want to stay here and get their visas. English is one of those requirements. Pancakes isn't a requirement to stay here. Red frogs isn't a requirement. I'm sorry. I know. It's just easy to just, that's how I'm going to win this argument. But anyway, there's so many different ways. He's coming to stop me. There's so many different ways that you guys can be involved in this. So pray to see how you can be involved in this life-changing, life-awesome ministry, all right? Thanks, team.
Okay, so we've laughed, and obviously Jesus is amazing. He is the light of the world, and these students and people living in our community, they need Jesus. So this is the moment of opportunity. It's the beginning of a new year, and I really want to encourage you, not just to laugh along and enjoy the speeches, but to think about how you could be involved in taking the light into people's lives and seeing them transformed. Okay, that's it. That's my sermon. And I think we're going to pray now. Is that